Hello everyone, welcome back to the Band of Brothers podcast. I'm Elton, and as always, I'm joined by Andy.
Hello.
And stepping into the breach, we have Mr. Pete Hammond.
Hiya.
And this week, we have the episode Crossroads. Now, for people that have been following us live as we go along, there has been a little bit of a break. For people who haven't been following us live, it's just another episode. So that's
we feel silly for drawing attention to it now because you're aware of this.
God damn it! That's the way things happen round here, isn't it? So there we go. Anyway, so yeah, we're going to be talking about Crossroads. First of all, I want to get everyone's initial impressions on this. Pete, what about your first initial impressions? When did you first see this, and what do you actually think of this episode before we dive into it?
As I say, when this first aired on the BBC back in whenever it was, 2001, obviously saw them in sequence. So I saw this when it was first released in the UK, and this is kind of a standout episode for me. It's a very well written one, and it does focus primarily, I always think, on Winters, and rightly so in this one. For reasons that will probably become clear later on as we discuss it. But this is also quite a problematic episode for me as well, for reasons which will probably become clear later on as we go through it. So, yeah, I've really enjoyed it, but I do have issues with it.
I think I know exactly where the issues may lie.
I think I mentioned them the first time I was on this cast, actually, so there you go.
So I think I have issues a little bit, I suppose, but I'll get into that in a minute. Andy, what about yourself?
Oh, I really like this one. I love the way this one starts, with just kind of running through the field and then, the gunshot ringing out. Just the way it's structured, just in a story sense is really well done. Winters is the focus here. And I think this is probably the second or third one which focused on Winters, and I think we get one more. But this is his crossroad. In the first time we see Winters, he's at Curehe, kind of the reluctant leader, if you will. It's still that to an extent, but you can kind of just see how far he's travelled since we landed in Normandy. And again, considering that fundamentally this entire episode takes place with him just tapping away on his keyboard, it's all flashbacks. It's effectively a flashback episode, but it's just so well done. And it's enjoyable. There's some great character moments in there. I, for one, don't seem to have any issues that I can recall with this episode, so I look forward to hearing what you two have to say about it.
Okay, what about myself? I don't know about this one. I really like the actual story that is shown to us. I'm not so sure about the flashback aspect of things. I think it works. Whether I like it or not is another thing. I do like flashbacks in certain storytelling modes, and
he also likes flash dance, as is reported.
No, shush! That was never to be recorded. God damn you!
The truth will out, my friend. The truth will out.
But flashbacks can work really well as a good mechanism in a storytelling situation. Sometimes they don't work as well for myself. And I feel because we haven't had any flashbacks yet, have we? Up until this point. And so,
well, apart from the whole first episode.
Oh, God damn you. That's true, yeah. But, okay, that was slightly different. It's different structure, I feel.
It was structured differently, absolutely, but the entire episode is framed as a flashback.
Yeah, but this is jumping backwards and forwards, and I feel that feels a little out of place. Only a smidgen, but it works for the context that it's trying to portray on the screen. But it doesn't mean I have to like it. And there are other little issues that I do believe we might be getting to very, very soon indeed.
Do you think so, old boy?
I think we might do, actually, yes. Mm-hmm.
I say, chaps, I'm finding these terrible accents awfully fright offensive, if you will. I'd rather you stick to traditional British, not this palaver.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
What?
Anyway, should we might as well dive into it.
It's going to turn into fucking Independence Day soon, isn't it? It's a message from the Yanks. Says they've got away to fight the aliens. Well, bravo, it's about bully time.
Well, I'm glad we can count on the Yanks to kill the aliens, and now we can go do it too.
Yes. Spot. Fucking F-16s in the background as well. No, I'll save that for another day.
I'm back as well, as he vertically challenges a massive ship. Fucking hell.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, I'm just going to put out a little warning here. We are going to spoil this episode, and we are going to swear throughout. That's the way it rolls around here. That's the way it rolls on most of the podcasts that I produce and we produce together. So if you have little ears listening, then I suggest that you scuttle them along to play with some Lego in the other room while you listen to this. So there you go. Spoiler warning and foul language warning out the way. That is done. Let's get into this. Where would you like to start on this? Because as you've already said, Andy, the opening shots of him just running across that field and the heavy breath and what's going on.
Talking heads.
Oh, damn. I always forget them.
You're not meant to say it now, Pete. You wait until he gets halfway in. And then you mention it, and then he has to go, I forgot, But yes, there are talking heads.
Right, okay, talking heads. I've got it written down here, and I didn't look at my notes. Damn it. It's
a professional production here, as you can tell.
Yeah. Well, I feel it's part of the cast now, isn't it? We just forget about it, and then we go back to it. Damn, stupid Elton. Anyway, talking heads. They're talking about it's all about leaders. And how you would follow leaders into battle and people that you would follow and people you wouldn't follow. Once again, we don't know the names of these people that are speaking.
It's pretty apparent who at least one of them is.
Yes. Yeah. It is, yeah. But I'm still enjoying just listening to these guys just talking. I could sit there for hours and just listen to that. But
that would probably be a good... I mean, they probably could just release all of those interviews just as a standalone thing, and I'd buy it.
Did they not?
I don't think they did, no, because even on the DVD, I've got the box set, and it doesn't have all of them.
No, it's not got all of them. It's got a fair chunk of it. But
it's got a fair chunk, but I'm just saying I'd quite happily just sit and watch a Blu-ray or a DVD of just those interviews. A bit like World at War.
I would be in a pile of my own tears and snot. Even halfway through that, I feel I wouldn't be able to cope. I'd have to do it in 10-minute chunks because I would be a blubbing wreck. I really would. And
oh yeah,
yes, I would. It's just, oh my God, it's so harrowing. Even just talking about leadership and just mind blowing. I find it. It's so awe-inspiring as well. It really is. But yeah, they're talking about the leaders, and there are some quotes I've written down here. I don't know how he survived, but he did, and they're just talking from their own perspectives on these. I'm just awe-inspired by these guys. I think they're fantastic. But then it goes into the frantic running, the bayonet, and the tracking shots.
I mean, if you want to just kind of get people's attention off the get-go, like install a sense of intrigue, this one does it the best of all of them, I reckon, just from that opening shot.
Yeah, I suppose you're right, yeah.
Because, you bear in mind, I can't remember exactly where we left off last time around. It was replacements, wasn't it? So I think we were in the barn talking about another deployment or something like this. But all of a sudden, out of the blue, you've got heavy breathing, there's someone running through a field, he's isolated, he's on his own, and he gets to the top. And you've just got literally this kid in a German uniform. He looks about 12, just kind of shrug. And then you see it's Winters, and he just fires, and it's just a look on his face and determination as he goes, and you just hear that ka-chink as the shell casing pops out, and the guy goes down, and it's just like, what? Have I missed an episode? What?
He's like previously on, isn't it?
Yeah. But it's so well shot. I mean, it's just from a cinema cinematic point of view, it's just so well done, that opening shot. I mean, you couldn't do a whole episode like this, but that as an opening sequence is great. This Michael Bay, that's how you use shaky cam.
Yeah,
just
definitely.
a little bit of brevity, and it works really powerfully.
Reminds me of the beach in Saving Private Ryan as well.
Oh, it's definitely got that kind of frantic bleach bypass look sort of thing, like that sense that you're really there. But yeah, it's just such a beautifully shot sequence.
I think Tom Hanks directed this episode.
He did. He's also in it.
Is he? Oh,
Yes.
okay. Where? Do I need to know now or do I need to know later on?
Do you want me to, I believe, and I could be wrong, but I believe he's one of his bloody English people who are stuck across the bridge.
Give over. He's not, is he?
He is. Spit, tulip and all that, what?
Oh, brilliant. I was unaware of that. Okay, right. That means I need to watch it again.
Hey!
Okay, so
Yeah,
now...
he's one of the Red Devils, so yes.
Ah, okay. So now we flash forward to October 17th, 1944, and we're in Holland. And Winter is
coming.
Winter
Wrong show.
he hears commotion outside, doesn't he? And something's up. Something's going down, and he has to wake Nixon. And what better way to wake a man than pour
with a jug of his own piss?
Oh,
Well, look, in Winter's defence, he shook him twice, sort of thing. Gave him plenty of opportunities to wake up on his own accord, and when he wouldn't stir, it was, well, there's liquid here.
well, this is still going on from Nixon having his drink issues as well, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean that's just something that's kind of underlying throughout. And I would just like to ask also, even if you do pee into a glass, why do you put it on a shelf afterwards? Put it on the floor, man. On the floor.
Well, you don't want to kick it over.
Yeah,
No.
he's in that kind of cot, isn't he? So you might boot it, I suppose. But
Well, yeah, I mean, it is that or have your roommate kind of throw it in your face. I can see the difficulty in choosing the two.
I think I'd put it on that shelf, but maybe the furthest point from that opening. Just in case some idiot comes in and splashes it over your face. That's like going to the gigs that I've been to in the past, where you just cop a massive plastic pint of piss in your face, and it's like, oh, come on. I've only been here 10 minutes and now I've got to spend the next 4 hours smelling of piss. Thank you very much. Gross. So, yeah, I think we can gather from this, Nixon's still got his drink issues as well.
Yeah.
oh, absolutely, yeah.
We get it referenced later on as well with his, I don't know why I'm still hiding my alcohol in your footlocker.
I'm a captain, goddammit.
Yeah. Well, traditions and all that. It's probably a luck thing with them as well.
Yeah, yeah. But our next scene, it's taken over to battalion headquarters.
Oh, yes.
Where we have... This is a really interesting scene, I feel. Because you have the English over there. You have the... notice that 8,000 English were lost at the Market Garden situation as well, which was from the recruitment episode, wasn't it?
Replacements, yeah. I think you see them doing the drop Market Garden at that point, yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of on the periphery of it all because we don't really get into Arnhem and the actual what's going on there. Yeah, you got good old Colonel Sink.
That's right, yes. Yes, he's in there. But Winters, he's having all these questions thrown at him about where his reports are. I think it's Sink wants to know certain things about...
He needs to get working, get his reports done.
Well, you got reports. You've also got equipment that needs to be taken off the British as well. I think that was mentioned.
I think so too, yes, because the British are heading backwards and these guys are heading forwards.
Yeah, that's
They're also
right.
trying to arrange a rescue, aren't they, for the trap troops?
Yeah, so they've got caught out. Am I right in thinking that? Or that
Yes, Jerry's caught us with our pants down, it would seem. And we need those bally Americans to come and rescue us.
Now, I'm guessing, Pete, that this is one of the bits that kind of gets your goat straight off.
Yes, very much so. I mean, in fact, it's an ongoing issue I have with the entire series. It's just the way that the British are portrayed throughout the entire thing. I know why they're portrayed in such a way, because Stephen E. Ambrose, when he wrote the book for Band of Brothers, he interviewed like the chaps from Easy Company, and that's all he interviewed for that particular book. So he got their perspective. So, like the woman when Blythe gets killed, like the woman who's done the laundry, seems very standoffish, seems very sort of harsh towards them. But that would have been how they saw her in that situation. Obviously, what they're not seeing is the fact that, you know, we've been being bombed for the past 4 years, that sort of shit. So that doesn't come into it. So he is essentially only getting one point of view from everybody. I mean, in Ambrose's other books, he does interview everybody else, and the Brits come out a lot better. Yeah. But it's just that whole hello sort of attitude and the way that they're portrayed as, and the Brits are portrayed as being pretty much useless. And it's just a huge bugbear of mine. It really is.
I would take issue of them being portrayed as useless. I don't think, certainly in this episode, I don't think they were portrayed as useless. But I mean,
it's the whole. It's like when you turn up to recruitment. You know, what's that growing on your head? That's air. That's my hair. What are you breathing? I'm breathing air. Where do dragons live? They live in a lair. Put them all together, and what do you get? Hair, lair. It's that sort of portrayal of British soldiers that I really don't like.
True, but again, devil's advocating here. Although the devil doesn't need an advocate, for he is the devil. It is the war through the eyes of Easy Company, and for good or for ill, this is presumably how they saw it. Because again, you've got to remember, a lot of these guys, this was the first time they'd even left their hometowns, let alone the country. Yeah, and the only instances they are going to interact with Brits and stuff like that are instances like, you know, the Colonel. And again, I've watched a lot of war films, and you do get a lot of them talking like this.
Well, that's it.
I've met a lot of powers, and none of them talk like that.
Well, yes, but your powers today aren't the ones from 1940 or 44.
Pretty much. I mean, these are the guys that worked out you could kill a German soldier with his own helmet if you put your hands on it right.
Flipping hell. What,
because of the
snap his neck?
Literally, yeah.
Because of the shape of the helmet?
Because of the shape of the helmet at the back. If you got it right. I mean, these are also the guys, they knew which rib to put a knife through to kill somebody silently. You know, they weren't all, well, I say, old boy. Very much not.
Well, that's true, but again, we've already seen that in Band of Brothers. They're not all like that. Again, in the first episode, when you've got them...
Have a banana, be lucky. Yeah, we got him, yeah.
I feel it is a stereotype. It's one I'm quite happy to wear, actually. Sometimes it jars me, but like Andy said, this is the first time these guys are seeing these people, and so it is... We are all bundled together as the same. We all speak like that because we all look like that. That's the way it is. And it's
also, unlike with the French, Germans and Dutch, they don't have a language to be able to show you, the audience, that this is not an American. They kind of have to play it up for the audience here. Otherwise, you don't have that sense that they're just not another person walking around.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I agree with that, but...
I don't know, because sometimes Americans, okay, this may be slander, but Americans sometimes struggle with the English accent and sometimes think it sounds Australian or it sounds Irish until you turn around and say...
Australian you get a lot, yeah.
Yeah, and so to emphasise that, to actually pinpoint it, bang, as soon as you walk into that screen, bang, that's Englishman. You need him to go tally-ho, pip-pip, toodaloo, and have a cup of tea in his hand. And that just strikes you. Okay, there's the Englishman. It just points it out. And
it's cinematic shorthand. I mean, that's what stereotypes fundamentally are used for in film.
Yeah.
It's why every time you encounter a German, it'll be, Ach, schnell!
It's very true, though, isn't it? I feel it's just a mechanism to portray this is an Englishman in this room right now. Whether they would sound like that or not, I do not know. I know of officers and the way that they come across, and some do sound like this. Not as bad as this, but it is there. And yeah, it's not accurate, but it's almost accurate for cinematography's sake. But there we go. Well,
straight up, it doesn't bother me that much, but I suppose that's because I just expect it. Again, it's an American production. Of course, we're going to speak like this, old boy. What do you expect?
Yeah,
you want one that's a bit more unforgivable. The Battle of Britain.
Still need to see that. Still need.
Yes,
to put
you
that
do.
down. Yeah.
I can't believe you've not seen the Battle of Britain.
I may have in the background at some point, at some time. I'm sure it's been on, but
you tell them that we either take off or we blow up.
Right. Okay.
Yes, Michael Caine is in that film.
I'm writing it down again. I think every episode I write this down to watch, and I'm writing it down now. There we go. Battle of Britain to watch.
I think Captain Quint from Jaws in it as well. What's his name? Can't think of his bloody name.
Quint.
Sure, he's a pun. Captain Quint from Jaws.
Oh, I don't know.
I'm sure he's in Battle of Britain.
I would say to Google, but
it's Robert Shaw, isn't it?
Robert Shaw, yeah.
Hang about, let's have a look.
I'm sure he's in it.
Well, he's in the Battle of the Bulge. Euphemism. Filmography, there we go. 1969. Yep, Battle of Britain. Yes, he's Skipper.
And bizarrely, Fred Elliott from Coronation Street.
Oh, I don't watch that.
He's in there.
Ian McShane's in it.
Oh, fucking love! Of course, Lovejoy's in it. He's in bloody everything.
Yeah.
I can't watch anything with him in it without going, oh, bloody Lovejoy.
Yeah.
Anyway, I feel we've gone slightly off a beaten path here, but my point is that if you're going to get, and I'm not saying this is a personal one, but in general, if you're going to get annoyed by British accents in American war films, yeah, probably need to check out now.
Yeah, it's going to happen a lot, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I find this scene interesting because you got Winters as well, because he's taking in so much information, and yet he's not batting an eyelid to it either. The way I always read Winters in this scene is he's not directly involved because he's too far out of it.
Well, he seems like he's an outsider. Well, you get that impression.
Yeah,
it's not his world. He's still a soldier. He's still one of the infantry. He's not an officer. Well, he's not. He is an officer, but he's not one of the command officers.
No, I took it the other way completely, in that he's too high a rank now to be involved with this sort of thing, because they actually give the operation to Moose Heiliger to run.
Yeah.
So I always took it that because Winters is that bit higher up, he's not directly involved, and he's just kind of gone along because he thinks he should, but he's not actually needed in there. And to the point where Sink actually turns around and says, right, I need your reports on the action from the other day. This isn't your job now. I need this from you from that. You're now sort of doing paperwork.
Yeah.
No, I always see this episode as him coming to terms with that.
Oh,
this is the episode where he goes from the trooper, the squad leader, the commander of Easy Company to the battalion officer, and at this point in it, he's in battalion, but he doesn't feel like he belongs in battalion because he wants to be with Easy Company. He needs to be with those. After he fires his weapon, and that's it. And we get that line, later on in this series. Spoiler alert, but we get a line later on, but he never fires his weapon again because this is the last time he is the commander of Easy Company. I always read this episode as that is the transition. And at this point, he's the outsider looking into battalion, whereas later on, he becomes part of the battalion. So that's that's
pretty much exactly how I view it. It's just that this is this kind of transition from one of the men essentially to looking after them more.
Yeah, but the people in that briefing, I always read as their battalion, their officers. You know, it's Colonel Sink, it's his friend Nixon, who's the battalion. These are the paper pushers, and he's not a paper pusher, at least not yet. He is
not quite yet. Yeah,
and he never looks comfortable doing the paper either, does he?
No. Well, again, as Nixon points out, you know, keep it brief. You know, use I a lot. Although, interestingly enough, he never used it once in that report.
Did he not?
He did not. Well, at least so IMDb trivia says so. So
okay,
I'm believing that.
I can go along with that. That's fine. So we have it goes back onto another flashback now, doesn't it?
Yes.
Where Dick is writing up his report, and then it flashes back to it. They're in like some sort of barn or outhouse.
Yeah. I mean, this feels more like the end of Replacements. I mean, it is further along, but it does feel like this was where they were previously.
Yeah. This feels that's the joining point, really, isn't it?
Yeah. But yeah, you know, they're in this little barn, you know, sort of thing, and everyone's just kind of figuring out where they're going to sleep, you know, just joshing backwards and forwards and everything like that. And again, you get the camaraderie around Easy Company. I think there's a dog or something running around as well that they've adopted.
Trigger.
Good old Trigger. Where's his broom? And again, you know, but there's referencing the Replacements from the last episode and everything. You just get a sense of it's the mundane almost.
Yeah.
It's you know, war never changes.
No, they're kind of sitting around waiting for something to happen, aren't they? Cleaning various items. Lipton can't get anything on the radio either.
Mm-hmm.
And yet you have people playing with the dog. I think did they have two dogs in there at some point? I get the feeling that there was two.
I think it's one great big Alsatian.
Oh, okay, fair play. And then all of a sudden we have a guy who's been wounded, being dragged in. Ali, I think his name was.
Yeah, that's Ali. Because that's actually in the book. It's an action. They're actually going up over one of the dikes, and I think they actually come across a German patrol, which chucks a potato masher grenade at them, and it goes off. I think it didn't explode immediately. It's just sort of, and he just rolled over, and it exploded next to him. Of course, he was full of holes, but him and his mates then went down the other side of the dike, just chucking grenades after, you know, in their wake, and I think they actually pretty much annihilated the entire patrol in the process.
So would that have been around that Crossroads area then?
Yes.
Right, okay.
Yeah. I think it's been a while since I've read the book, but I'm fairly certain it is actually that Crossroads that we come across later.
Yeah, because then Winters gets hold of a battalion. He tells, hang on, what's his name? Is it Lipton? Yeah, he gets Lipton to get the first squad together, and then they go out. And we see familiar faces in this as well, as we always do. And I just love the way, because it is a transition for Winters from being the leader to going into more of a backroom staff area. And yet he's still right up the front on this, leading it. It's almost as if he knows that transition is happening, and it's going to happen very soon. So he wants to stick himself out there just one last time.
I get what you're saying, but I don't get that impression myself. I always felt that every time he got a promotion, it was a reluctant one, that he didn't really, you know, for all his tactical acumen here, he's pretty clueless when it comes to the politics of the military and stuff like that. He always just seems shocked when they go, "We're promoting you." So it's like, oh, okay. You know?
Yeah.
It always just strikes me as there's a job to be done. I'm going to do the job. He's very much he won't send anyone to do anything he's not willing to do himself.
Which is what makes him such a good leader.
Well, yeah,
I was found in this.
That is a good trait in any leader whatsoever. If you won't do that job, then why send someone else to go do that job? And I think that's referred to later on as well with the other guy that's taken over at a later stage. But there's an M42 that opens up when they're stalking around. They're heading up towards the Crossroads. And
they're looking for the patrol or whoever it was that did it.
Yeah.
In this, beautifully shot as well. It's just really nicely shot. Going up over that brow of a hill there. But yeah, they just see a machine gun nest that's firing on HQ, which is completely out of range, so it can't actually do anything except reveal their position. How nice of them. One
thing I want to ask about these weapons. Now, they mentioned the M42.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what was called the buzzsaw? Or is that a different gun?
Not sure. I mean, the MG42... I don't know if that was called the buzzsaw, because the MG42 on the German side, and the main American one was the Mardus, the Mark II.
What was the one where they had to change the barrel out? They had about 5 seconds when they changed the barrel out. It's the one that they used for the smart gun in Aliens.
That's an MG42.
That's the MG42. Yeah.
It is. I just had a look. It's called Hitler's buzzsaw. So yes.
Right. Okay. Because what I've heard from, do you know much about these weapons?
Are they still being used? The MG42.
I'm not sure.
They're still in service.
Because it's widely recognised as the best machine gun that was ever made.
Yeah.
It's an incredible bit of kit.
The only problem that they had was what would you call it? The barrel used to get red hot. And so they had to actually change out the barrel. And that I think there was a 5-second gap when the gun wasn't firing. And that was when American and British forces were told to retaliate while they were changing the barrels out. Because that thing would get so bloody hot, they needed to change the barrel after changing magazines as well. It's a lovely bit of kit. It really is.
Mm.
And it gets its name from the buzzsaw because I don't know how many rounds it used to do in a minute, but it used to fire off a flipping lot.
1,200 rounds a minute.
And, well, yeah, now you know why they had to change the barrel out every time. And they said it sounded like just a buzzsaw. You could hear it. If you heard it, you knew exactly what gun that was. They are a supreme bit of kit. They really are. And I think the Americans tried to follow suit with their own version as well, which I can't quite remember exactly what that one was called.
M60.
Is it the M60? Okay.
Yeah, the M60 steals a lot of design cues from it, but it's not a derivative. It's a separate gun, but it stole some ideas and everything.
Yeah.
As you do.
Why not? Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Probably captured a few and then decided, do you know what? That's not a patent. That's not a patent. We'll have that. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Screw them losers.
What are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? Nothing. That's what.
But we have Winters setting down the company and then
some nice use of hand signals there as well.
Yeah, well, yeah, he goes off and tries to scout the area, doesn't he? I love these hand signals. I'd love to know these.
They're on Wikipedia. You can find them all.
Can you? Oh, excellent.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to be... Right, okay, go on. Talk amongst yourselves.
Next time you're at work sort of thing, you're trying to repair a lift, you start doing all these hand signals and gestures, and the guy's looking at you going, you what?
Yeah, got a phone, mate. Hand signal. Hang on, if I'm typing just hand signals into Google...
Oh, yeah, I think that's going to come up with something entirely
different. Careful.
Right. Oh, driving hand signals. No, I don't want driving hand signals.
Military hand, and it's visual signalling. Here you go. US Army hand and arm signals.
I've got a list of gestures.
I bet you have.
People often use gestures during heated or tense arguments. Oh, yeah, I'm in the wrong one.
There you go. Sent it to you.
Nice one. That's the fella. That's the fella. Zombiehunters.org. Nice one.
Well, because obviously you don't want the zombies to hear what you're about to do to them. So.
Okay. Right. Well, where we got up to? Because...
well, we've just done some hand signals, and we've just pulled Easy Company up over the hill down the other side, while the Germans in their machine gun nest are tapping away, having fun, just wasting ammunition because they can't actually hit anything from where they are.
Mm. And this is Winters not taking charge again, but just bossing it. He really does boss it, laying down who's going to be taking out who at what certain time as well. Yeah.
It's really nice, again, going from person to person, saying second from left, third from left, and just kind of giving everyone a target. So when they open fire, they drop them all in one go.
Yeah.
But what's really nice is they kind of get ready, they open fire, and then as the machine guns and the BARs and all that are firing off sort of thing, you then cut to the typewriter. And I know it's a cliche now, but I think this was probably the first time it was really used, that whole kind of like the typewriter continuing the sound of the rounds going off, which was just, again... I think this is the best directed episode we've had to date, which is a testament to Tom Hanks. It's really well done.
Right. Yeah, maybe I should watch it again. It's just something about the actual format of flashbacks that sometimes it really works, especially when he's got his piece of paper and he takes it out the typewriter and it's just full of words. And it's totally what Nixon wouldn't do. It's too well prepared for just a military report, really, isn't it?
Yeah. But I think this is one of the best uses of flashbacks in any series or anything. This is really well done.
Also, one thing about the guns, the tracers. Are they actual tracers, or are they just... is that just the ammunition that's firing around?
No, they're actual tracers. For every tracer round you see, I think it's typically 3 or 5 rounds in between.
So it's one in 5 is a tracer, I think.
There you go. So yeah.
Right. Okay. I'm just unaware of how it actually works. Whether they would have had them back then. I do not know.
Yeah. They had them back then. I mean, I think they came in towards the back end of the First World War. I mean, all they are is just it's effectively an incendiary sort of round sort of thing. It's just something that burns as it's going through the air, so you can follow it. Unfortunately, it means they can follow you back to you as well. So awkward.
Yeah, that's kind of giving you away your position, I suppose, but. You do get some wonderful shots here as well across the field because the darkness has fallen and you get all these tracer shots firing past all these guys because they have the mortars set up behind them as well, don't they? And when they take out these guys, they take them out, they fall back, and then they drop mortars on them.
Yeah.
Just to screw them up a little bit more, which I thought was just beautifully done. Really well done.
Well, it's nice that you saw them taking the time to get in a position and set up and plan. This wasn't just we found them, open fire, and you can see that thought went into this. Training played into this, and that was kind of a nice touch.
Yeah, and they're working so well together. That's the thing.
Oh yeah, it's a well-oiled machine, Easy Company.
Yeah, but we also find Dukeman. He gets taken out. He's asked to take a machine gun from over to the left flank, I think it is, and he gets taken out at that time. Which it's a square shot to the chest, I feel.
I think so, yeah. I mean,
he's a bit too upright when he's running.
Yeah, that's right.
Hits him square in the chest.
But then it goes back to reports again.
Yeah.
This is.
I will just say very quickly on that last scene. I love the tension while it's building, waiting for. You expect one of the kids to fire too soon, but they're just waiting for it, and it builds the tension beautifully.
No, but they've been doing this for ages now, haven't they?
Yeah.
And there's not a misfire in there. There's not. they're not clumsy at all.
And there's no replacements there either.
No, it's all.
I think it's all Toccoa men.
Right.
I don't think there's any replacements in that unit there.
Yeah, because they were mentioning about the replacements in the barn as well, weren't they? So about giving them orders. So I suppose you have a massive turnover, and they can just fill in any spot. If they're officer material, then they'll go there. But anyway, right, where are we now? We've had that, and it goes. We go back to Nixon and the report, and Nixon and his drinking habit as well.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't know if... Do you want to talk us through this bit?
What? That Nixon's got a drinking habit?
Yeah. No, the way it happens, and he shouldn't still be doing it, should he?
Oh, was this? I thought that was a bit later on when he goes to get the... No, that's a bit later on, isn't it? Because you have at this bit, he's on the typewriter and he pulls out the paper, and then it's the next morning down there. Because you get the sense they've been in that field all night.
Yeah.
And again, they're still giving up. Yeah, that's after that. Nixon comes in and he's talking about how he's still hiding his alcohol in Winters' footlocker, as referenced all the way back in QE.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. Why don't we talk about the morning attack then?
Well, I mean, I just don't know what else you want me to say about his drinking. The man has a bit of a drinking problem, which becomes more because we get an episode following Nixon. I think it's the second to last one.
Why We Fight.
Yeah. But I mean, yeah, basically the guy has a drinking problem. He plays a very carefree, water off a duck's back sort of a guy. But yeah, he has his demons, and the way he's dealing with this is alcohol. Impressive where he's still getting it all, but yeah, still hiding it in Winters' thing.
He's getting it from Amazon. It's $23.85 at the moment on Amazon Prime.
Oh, there you go. You see, and they do Prime delivery across all of Europe. So yeah, no problems.
Well, yeah,
it'd be drones as well, wouldn't it?
Oh God, yeah.
Oh, marvelous! Has that price gone up or down recently?
It's gone up. It was 16, but that wasn't on Amazon Prime. But Amazon Prime, it's now 23 quid.
Flipping hell!
It's a blended whiskey.
Yeah. I'm still gonna have to get a bottle just to try it. Just to try and see if I can get myself a bottle.
I've not pulled the trigger on it yet, but
yeah, that's a bit dear though, isn't it?
Oh no. No.
It is for me. For you officer types, you can just bathe in that sort of stuff. I, on the other hand, cannot.
Whiskey, what one bathes in sherry, old sport. Okay. Anyway, the morning attack, yes.
Yeah.
The next day, fixed bayonets. Goes the call.
Before we go into the actual attack itself, is there a moment when Winters actually realises he's made a bit of a snafu? Because he he turns to I can't remember the sergeant's name, and basically says that they're in a really poor position. Because as soon as the Germans are on the ridge surrounding them, they're actually in the field, and the Germans are on the roadway above them. And as soon as the Germans work out where they are fucked, basically.
That's right. Yeah,
there is that, but I don't think it was in a snafu as such. It's just he'd read the situation as it had evolved, and he's like, okay, we can't stay here any longer.
Yeah, I think had they done this, like the night attack, had that been during the day, probably wouldn't have put them in that position.
Yeah,
at that time.
But
sorry, the dog was looking at me funny.
Oh, that's what that was. Oh.
But you're going to have that sort of situation if you have a road going off to your right-hand flank. You've always got the possibility of someone coming over the other side of that hill. The way
yes. That's basically what he said. I can't remember the name of the sergeant he's with.
Higgins, was it?
No, I can't think of the bloke's name. No, it's gone. But no, that's basically what he's realising as the day's starting to get lighter. It's just like, right, we have to move, because as soon as somebody sees us here, that's it. So we have to get a move on, which is when we get the original run with the smoke grenade.
I just love how that whole sequence comes about, though. It's the, wait for the smoke and then run. And I don't know if it's a misfiring grenade or what, but he throws it and starts running, and the smoke doesn't appear.
Oh, smoke grenades are like that. They're horrible.
Yeah.
You can never tell when they're actually going to go off.
Yeah, but it's just the guy goes, wait for the signal, and meanwhile Winters is off on his own. It's just like
he's disappeared over the horizon. He's
yeah.
Oh fuck!
He's a little black dot before it starts going red. No, there's the signal. Let's go.
Yeah.
I suppose. Do you reckon Winters meant that? Do you reckon it was meant to be, okay, give me like five lengths in front and then join me?
I think it was more likely supposed to be maybe 1 or 2 lengths behind.
Yeah.
I mean, you kind of get the impression that the grenade was supposed to go initially, but it kind of misfires at that first bit.
Yeah.
And the guy goes to run, but then they say, wait a second. I think that's when he was expecting them to come. So yeah, I dare say if he got up there and he looked behind him and there was no one there, it would have been like, uh-oh. I also think, when he gets to the brow of that hill and you got that German kid just kind of shrugs, he was expecting all of Easy Company to be right behind him at that point, just not on his own.
Yeah. And
Hell of a shot from the hip, isn't he?
Well, yeah, hip firing straight away. And it's not his only
with a bayonet
shot
on as well.
With a bayonet, yeah. And N1's got a bit of a kick on it as well.
But it's the whole sequence of them running with the red smoke behind them. It's just awesome. But yeah, you got Winters in the lead, up over it, and again, this kid, he looks like he's 12.
Looks like a kid I play rugby with.
What was he doing?
I think he was having a piss.
Oh, fuck!
But it's the way he just kind of look. It's the way he just looks and just smiles and shrugs. It's just like, what are you going to do?
Yeah, maybe the first time that he's ever encountered an American, I suppose.
Probably, yeah. And then, again, you've got Winters on his own taking on the entire company.
Well, I think that's what caught them out, though, wasn't it? Because you just have this, all of a sudden, that kid has got an American just bearing over him. He's got the high ground straight away.
That.
Yeah, the good old high ground.
It's the everyone defense.
Yes.
Over. I have the high ground.
But he does, though, doesn't he? And he also, he shoots from the hip and takes that guy out, but then continues to shoot from the hip. And he takes another guy out because as you pan over, you've got herds of Germans in front of you.
It's trouts in a barrel. It's literally, like I said, an entire company up against a hill, and he just starts shooting them, and it's just,
Sorry, Karen.
I said they just go down, and then they just start running away. I mean, I don't know if they were already kind of a beaten force at that point, taking cover, but they're just taking so unprepared, and the rest of Easy Company shows up, and then you got the rest of the company coming down over the other side of the hill, and it's just it's a shooting gallery.
I think at that point that all those Germans in that field, because they do actually mention that's a river crossing. Mm-hmm. So I think they're actually massing to go on to somewhere else.
What, to maybe retreat further back?
It's either retreat or to meet up with another unit and sort of cause mayhem elsewhere. But certainly the impression I always got with that bit is they're actually in a holding pattern waiting to go somewhere else.
Because they didn't seem to be in a position to attack or defend, really, did they? No,
as I say, I think that was a staging ground for bigger things.
Right.
Because I think they do actually mention that where the Germans start coming over the hill, that's actually a river crossing there. So whether it's a ferry or something, and they're just waiting to get on elsewhere.
Because then Easy Company just mows them down as they come down the hill.
Yeah.
They are caught by surprise, though.
Oh, completely and utterly, yeah. Caught out in the open.
Yeah. And then the artillery starts to rain as well.
So this is Allied artillery first off, isn't it?
Yes.
And then at some point it swaps over where the Germans have that crossing zeroed in so they can, just in case they have to fall back.
Yeah, they obviously know the exact coordinates, and they know, because if you see the explosions start coming down the road, so they know exactly where to fire. They'll obviously have a set pattern, fire for effect and all the rest of it. So if anything does go south, as it does, they can just say, right, we're in the shit, let it rip, as it were, but in German.
Because they come across Polish. Is it
No,
Polish?
they don't.
They claim they're Polish.
Oh, okay, right. This is where I got caught out.
Nick Sleeson, Polish. They're only fucking Poles in the SS.
Sometimes I need it explaining to me. That's all.
Dexter Fletcher does explain it. Fucking Poles in the SS.
So you have that situation. Boyle, I think it is, takes a hit as well from the German artillery.
Yeah, he goes up to spot foil of shot, gets caught up by the German artillery at that point.
Yeah. But
then, of course... Sorry.
Oh, go on, mate, go on.
I was going to say, then you also have the fantastically uttered line, "They got me."
What would you say if you got hit, though?
Balls. Oh, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
I think it'd be something nice to go, I stand corrected. Apparently they can hit the broadside of a barn at 10 paces.
Oh, I don't know. So the German artillery ceases. We have Libgott. Everything calms down now, doesn't it? The Germans are taken out. Whatever. I think they disband as well, don't they? Some of them get away. Some of them don't get away. Well,
we get another quick flashback to Winters on his typewriter because, again, we keep flashing back. He's remembering.
Right.
But then we're a bit later on after the artillery and all that, and they've got prisoners. Most of the Germans have dispersed and disappeared. And who's the guy being an absolute cock threatening to shoot them? Can't remember. Libgott, is it? Yeah.
Mind you could give him a pass. He's Jewish and they're SS.
Fair enough. But still, you get Winters effectively sends him home with one round.
Yeah.
Now, with the prisoners, though, if you knew that there was a guy on your case, but just with one round, wouldn't you have a dig at him?
Entirely depends on if you wanted to be there in the first place. Being SS, they probably did, so yeah, they probably would. But, again, they don't know he's only got one round.
Yeah, but I think it's a very brave thing for Winters to do.
I don't think it is, though, because at this stage in the war, you have to read the enemy. They're a broken force, effectively. They're in retreat. The Allies are fully deployed and entrenched on the mainland. So if this was earlier, like, just after D-Day, would never do this because they feel like they've got a chance. We can take him and we can get back to our unit and do it. Yeah. But they're a broken force at this point. So they were just like, oh, well, we may as well just accept it. We're going to get killed or captured today or killed or captured tomorrow. So that's what I think that was about. Right. It's not something he'd have done earlier in the series.
Okay.
So quick question on that then. If they knew what they were coming up against in the next couple of episodes, well, not the next couple of episodes, but the next couple of months, would he have sent Libgott off like that?
Probably not. But yeah, hindsight's always 20/20,
Yeah, because that's what I always think is he's doing this now because they believe them to be a spent force. Yeah. But yeah.
But that is the whole point. That is the whole point about what happens at Bastogne and everything, isn't it? It's one of those. Oh, it'll be over by Christmas. Yeah, which they've been saying since 1914. For fuck's sake.
Yeah.
It's always over by Christmas, though, isn't it?
Always,
yes.
always.
So we get a tally of 22 wounded and 1 killed in action as well.
Mm-hmm.
This is where Nixon rocks up, as he does, finds Winters, and they need to who's the major they go and see after this? I can't remember the name of it. The major they go see, because it's mentioned that Major Hortons was killed in action. I'm struggling to place Major Hortons.
Me too. I mean, again, it's been a while since we watched the last few episodes of this. So, and again, the problem with this series, but it is a certain amount of you just get that name blindness, don't you? You know, it's faces. You recognise the faces, but putting names. Do
we ever see Major Horton?
I don't think we do. I know he's a name you keep hearing throughout, but because I know Colonel Sink's on the come to see what's going on and everything. Major Horton's dead, yeah.
And so Winters is promoted to second officer of the 2nd Battalion?
Yes.
I think it is.
XO effectively, isn't it? Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And this other guy, who's taken over easy?
Foxhole Norman.
Yeah, I'm trying to... I've written his name down here. Hillinger.
Dyke. No. I was thinking of the guy that eventually takes over easy. No, Moose Heiliger.
Heiliger, that's it. So he's the guy, because he's the one I really don't like. I think everyone really doesn't like him. And if you haven't seen Band of Brothers,
no, Moose Heiliger was loved by the troops.
Oh, okay. So am I getting him confused with the guy that keeps disappearing?
Yeah, that's the one that keeps running off. Got to make a phone call. That's Lieutenant Dyke.
Right, okay.
Who somehow leads them through Bastogne. The guy that takes over from Winters immediately here is Moose Heiliger.
Right, yes.
And he's in charge for about 5 minutes.
Yeah, he does the night mission, doesn't he?
Yeah, so he does the rescue, but then he gets invalided out because he's accidentally shot by a sentry.
Yeah. On the railway lines.
On the railway lines, yeah.
That's right, yes.
And he does survive it because he is one of the talking heads. I don't think he's come up yet, but he's certainly in that last episode when they do sort of, not the making of, but, he's in that quite a bit.
Yeah, there's a lot of talking heads in the last episode, isn't there?
Yeah, so he's definitely there, but no, he did survive the war.
Which I guarantee you, I will forget about as well. I guarantee it. Right, okay, yeah, so I'm getting confused because, the guy who keeps darting off, I'm sure we'll talk about him next week or next time we record. But flipping hell, man. Oh.
It's not the next one, it's the one after.
Is it the one after?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because we don't want to jump forward too much. The next episode focuses on... Oh, what's his name? The medic.
Yeah, the medic, which is one of my favourite episodes.
Yeah.
Fantastic, that one. And then the one after that focuses on Lipton is the Lieutenant Dyke one.
Right, okay. Yeah, because Lipton's taking all the weight, really, isn't he?
Yeah, he's basically running easy.
Yeah.
Whilst Dyke fucks off.
Okay, so Winters has moved up then. Moose,
yes.
Is it Moose? His nickname has taken over from Winters.
Yeah, he's now running Easy Company.
Okay, and then we have this Operation Pegasus, where they need to get over to a river, get the Red Berets.
No, if you're going to be talking about the Red Berets, the Red Devils, I think you should do it in the appropriate accent.
But okay, what was the idea of this mission? Because I'm scratching at why they went over there. I know that they're cornered over there, weren't they?
I believe it was called Operation We Have to Save Their Arses.
Yeah, basically where Operation Market Garden went spectacularly wrong. Had it worked, war would have been over by Christmas. It really was that sort of big. But because it went so badly wrong, it was essentially Market Garden was to take all the bridges over the Rhine, which is where the film Bridge Too Far and all that sort of stuff is. But it went very, very badly wrong. And as I say, British forces lost 8,000 troops. So they basically wanted to get, because they were essentially the paras, to put it in parlance of Band of Brothers, they were the equivalent of Easy Company. They wanted to get as many of those guys back and their equipment back as possible. Now, of course, that involved going over rivers where they hadn't captured the bridges.
Yeah.
So it was a really dangerous operation because they tried to capture these bridges, had failed, so they're now stuck on the wrong side of the river, completely surrounded. So they've now got to get back, but not use the bridges because obviously they're now either blown up or really heavily defended.
Mm. So why didn't they just fashion canoes out of the woods around them? Surely the British can do that.
Oh, well, don't you know? That's what they did. It's just the canoes were all on the other side of the river. It's damn nasty business. But fortunately, those Yanks came along and helped us get them across the river. It's damn decent chaps, all of them. God bless them. Why, if there was more chaps like that, this war would be over by Christmas. It's like I always say to Ben Affleck when he's over here, winning World War II in his Spitfire. It's just like, if we had more Yanks like you, we'd win this war. It'd be over by Christmas. It's damn patriotic chaps, all of them. God
the
bless
wrong
them.
Mark Spitfire. We're not going on that one now.
I'm never doing Pearl Harbor. Never.
Oh, fucking hell.
No, but Tora, maybe. But not Pearl Harbor.
No, not Pearl Harbor. No, never. Never. So, this has got some of my favourite scenes in this. Especially when the Easy Company gets over to the river. Because Moose seems to be in complete control as well. He's just really adopted that position really well. But when the Red Berets, it's just the way that they're talking about, oh, good to see you, chaps. Lovely. I'm so glad you made it over the river. It's fucking
Never
brilliant.
thought to be so bloody pleased to see a bloody Yank.
It's true. You wouldn't have some tea on your bow any chance, would you? Could murder a cup of Darjeeling.
Well, you know what the Americans do with tea, bastards.
They put the milk in first, don't they?
No, they dump it in the fucking river and then bloody go independent.
That was some years back, surely.
Well, yes, it was all a frightful misunderstanding. It was just down to some tax returns. But we worked it all out in the end, and I have to say, given recent events, probably for the best.
We can take it back any time we want. It's fine.
Just give the tea back. Don't dump it in the river.
Yeah, that's true.
So anyway, yes, God bless the Yanks and tally ho, pip pip all I'd want. God bless the king.
I love this scene where I think it's Moose asks, so where are the rest of you? And they go, here we are. And they all just step out. They've been watching them on that beach all that time.
Wait,
no,
you've been watching us all of this time? Yes, we have.
Yes, we have. and they don't say, come on then. They say, Lester, square up.
Well, of course, because if you say flash and fun, you're going to be mistaken for a bloody Yank. Get shot. We don't want that.
Well, no,
God, no, there's no subtlety to that whatsoever. That's obvious. Any Jerry could figure that one out. But no, if you say Lester,
square.
and then you have to say square because you might have to say something else. It's like, Lester, who?
Well, they can't say Leicester. They say Leicester.
Yeah.
Leicester? No, that's incorrect. Let's take one for the team. But anyway, yeah, that's one of my favourite things where they just step out.
They just emerge from the woods. Yeah, we could have killed you.
Yeah, could have killed them at any point whatsoever. You were totally surrounded, and yet you were here to rescue us.
Yes, quite right. God bless those chaps, every one of them.
And yeah, the English bashing spirals out of control here a little bit, I feel, because the Americans do rescue the English, the Red Berets. And then it's all hurrahs and drinks and stuff like that, isn't it? And then, Currahee! Hurrah! All that malarkey.
Brings a tear to one's eye, doesn't it?
But the interesting thing is, Winters, he's hearing that though, isn't he? He's not actually there. You can tell that he's pining to be there and be part of that.
Pining for the fjords?
But this is what I like about his character, because he is pining to be there. When he heard about this Operation Pegasus, he was almost telling them what to do. And Nixon was like, no, look, Moose has got this. It's fine.
Yeah.
Which reminds me of something we forgot to mention. He has a minion now.
Yeah. Keep an eye out for any bacon sandwiches.
Yes.
Oh, that's right. Hang on. His name is Selinsky.
Yeah, Selinsky.
Yes,
He crops up later on as well.
Oh, does he? Is he still his minion?
Yeah.
I believe the technical term is adjunct.
When people get made up and promoted, they really don't have any say in it, do they?
You can turn it down.
Right.
But I think in times of war, it's not the done thing. Because the majority of the time when Winters is getting promoted, it's because somebody else has got killed. Certainly in the case of Major Horton. And it's kind of there's a vacuum to be filled, and he's clearly the best man for the job. Well, I say clearly the best man for the job. He's the best man, but I would always argue that he's better utilised elsewhere.
Out in the field.
He's not a desk jockey. And never was. He's a leader of men. He's a
leader and a really good tactician as well, though.
Yeah. So you don't really, as is highlighted in the Bastogne ones, you don't really have that many combat leaders with that sort of level of experience. And they take him away from the front line because they see him as really valuable. But it could be argued that his real place of value is actually on the front lines.
Yeah. With his men as well.
With the men who respect him and who he respects.
Yeah.
Because that's the problem you come up with Dyke later, is there's no respect in either direction. No,
well, that is hinted at as well, isn't it? What do they call Dyke?
Foxhole Norman.
Yeah, I think that's
even before they get to Bastogne. That's before they get out of training.
Is that Garnier that says that as well? Because Garnier comes back at this point as well, doesn't he?
Yeah. He snuck out of the hospital to come back to Easy.
What wound did he have at that point? I can't remember. Did he get shot in the leg?
I think so.
It's been a while since we recorded the last episode.
Because you don't actually see it on screen. It's one of these that happens off screen.
Mm-hmm.
I might have got shot in the arse. It seems to be an Easy Company thing.
Who got the 4 bullet? The bullet that made the 4 holes. That's
Buck. That's Buck Compton.
Yeah, that's Buck. Yeah.
Yeah, who we meet up with again later on, with a bit of PTSD, it would seem.
Yes,
just a bit. And then Popeye Wynn is also, he got shot in the arse on D-Day.
Yeah, he's the guy who, when they were storming the trenches. Yeah,
he gets shot in the arse then and apologises for it. Sorry, I got shot in the arse. Don't worry about it, mate. So, yeah, I think Garnier gets shrapnel or shot in the arse or leg because he's not in it for a while. But then he, as you say, he gets out of the hospital. Yeah, and makes his way back.
One thing we have just missed though, with Moose getting shot.
Yes,
because you have Moose getting shot, but this is
sorry. I've just read it up. He was actually injured in a motorcycle accident.
Oh, right.
Yes. He was driving a motorcycle that he had stolen from a Dutch farmer across an open field when he was shot in the right leg by a sniper. The impact knocked him off the motorcycle, fracturing his tibia and lodged some shrapnel in his right buttock. So we were all right.
So we were all right.
Yes. It was a motorcycle accident. He was shot, and it was in the arse.
And it was in the arse. Oh, bloody hell.
That's some sniper shot as well.
Yes. So anyway, that was definitely not shown because I would have remembered that.
Yes. And I imagine there would have been duck whistles and all sorts in that. Comic relief.
The old Swally flute. Yeah, one thing we did forget to mention was Moose getting shot. He's just taken...
we hadn't gotten to that bit yet.
Have we not got to that part yet?
We've not. We were still mocking the British.
That's right. Okay. So should we get to that part then?
What, mocking the British? Yes, I'm always up for some of that. Oh wait, we're moving on from now, are we? Oh God. Bad show, Severed. If one must.
So this is October the 31st, 1944 now. We're in Holland, and they're on patrol, aren't they?
Walking along I don't know if they're on patrol or just having a conversation while they walk.
It's a conversation, I think. I don't think you'd have two ranking officers like that on a patrol.
Yeah.
I think it's more Winters imparting fatherly advice.
Yes, this is how I used to run easy. I'd like it if you did something similar. Just try not to get shot. Oh, bollocks.
Yeah, and one job, damn it. One job,
One
Moose.
job.
There were raptors in the kitchen, Moose. People died.
This is blue on blue as well, isn't it?
Oh,
yeah.
Yes.
Some
Remember,
11-year-old boy.
Friendly fire isn't.
That's correct. Very, very correct. But what I like about this is we have the medic, and he's having a go at all the other people around him because they haven't recorded or remembered how much morphine they've given to him.
You meant to put the tabs from the morphine souchettes on the collar so they know how many he's had.
Yeah.
And they hadn't done that.
No, they just panic and just fill him full of morphine.
Yeah. And I love Doc Crow. He's one of my favourite characters, but it's just the way he goes. Are you trying to kill him? Damn it!
Yeah, exactly.
It's a good job. He's a big man.
Yeah.
You're grown men. You ought to know.
That's it. Yeah, you're grown men. Yeah. That's right. And
I love that.
Yeah. Unlike these kids.
Well, yeah. Essentially.
So this would be another replacement, I'm assuming. The guy that
it was a replacement for a replacement, I think. But yeah,
the sentry that shot him.
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, there's that great bit when Winters is there going, "Get a medic," and he's just standing there, mouth agape, and he says, "Go get a medic."
I'm sorry.
I think that's what I'd be saying though. I say that if I spill tea.
What, you shout for a medic, do you?
Yes, medic! Yes. Man down.
If it's really hot,
it's not always that hot. It's normally just me being fucking clumsy.
I think I've scalded my hand.
So this moves Moose out of the way, then, doesn't it?
Yes, he's in a field hospital for quite some time.
Yeah. He does. Am I right in thinking he comes back though?
I don't think he sees active service again.
Right.
Because he's quite nastily shot up. I mean, when you actually, I might be putting 2 and 2 together and getting 5, but when he's the talking head at the end of the show, he is a big bloke. He's about 6'6". White hair, but he talks a little bit like that.
Yeah, it says here he didn't actually get discharged from the hospital until 1947. So
yeah, he was really, really badly shot up. Went into horticulture afterwards.
Why not? Indeed,
I wouldn't. It's fucking awful business. That's why I got out.
Okay, so Moose has moved on. Then. This is a Dyke that's taken over, Lieutenant Dyke, isn't it?
Lieutenant Norman Dyke.
We skip forward to December.
Yep.
Should be over by now.
It should be, yes.
It should be done by now, yeah.
And Winters, he's been told to go to Paris.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, have a day off, for God's sake, man.
Well, he's been working to the bone as well, hasn't he? He just hasn't stopped.
Which they actually reflect in the filming of this episode, because when he's back in his hotel room and he has a bath, that's the first bath or shower he'd had in the entirety of the duration of filming.
Ah, okay. Ooh,
so
nice
when he gets into it's a bit like Han Solo takes a really good punch. Damian Lewis takes a really good bath. and it's just the way that he sinks in, because you can just see it on his face. This is the first bit of relaxation. I've been running around. I've had everybody shouting at me. I've been hiding in holes, muddy puddles and whatever in Bovington for the past God knows how long. I'm actually allowed a nice hot bath, and they filmed it for that. I think it's a lovely touch.
I mean, the whole sequence when he gets to Paris is kind of nice. You really get the sense that he feels like a fish out of water here as well. You know, there's a war going on, but here we are, and there's people laughing, drinking, relaxing, and it just you can feel how I mean he's being bumped into, but you can feel how uncomfortable he's feeling there, and we also get that bit when he's on the metro and he sees the kid, and all he can see in the kid is the German kid from the opening of the episode as well.
Yeah, they did really well in getting that kid, getting the French kid to look like that SS trooper as well, because they do look kind of similar.
That's true.
Yeah. I don't think it was the same actor, but you know, you could have done that. No. And yeah.
That would have been cheap, though. I feel.
Yeah, that would have took you out a bit of it.
That would have been way too cheap, and no, that's not what this is about. This is about similar, reminding you of that sort of situation.
Yeah, and it's similar enough that you just kind of, you know, again, you can see why he's seeing that kid in there in the face, and again, it's just really nicely shot with the lights flashing as it's going along, and then him just kind of staring off into the distance when the trains reach the end of the station.
Yeah,
and he's just like, you know, you can see that it's affected him. You know, he hasn't allowed it to show, but it's showing there.
Yeah. Can I ask about that bath scene? Because I don't take baths. I'm a shower guy. I don't do the baths. And yet, when I saw him slipping into that bath, I sat there going, oh. It was almost as if I was not getting in the bath with him, but getting into a bath as well. I could feel how nice that felt.
Yeah, as I say, first bath forever out for. I'll put my fucking teeth in and start that sentence again. That was his first sort of wash for God knows how long.
Yeah.
So it just conveyed that really well, and apparently it worked.
That's proper method.
Yeah.
That's how you do method, Christian Bale.
Yeah, some nice location. I don't know if they actually shot some of these things in and around Paris, but the bit near Notre Dame and everything's really nicely shot. And, you know, just kind of, you get a sense of the city there, which is kind of nice.
Yeah.
You know, these little landmarky bits. And again, you know, it's just this little world away from it, you know. When he's out on the front lines, you know, his entire world is just the war. But then all of a sudden, the war's somewhere else. And there's a disconnect there. And it's portrayed very nicely.
Yeah, that's right. This is the part of the film, the part of the episode where I kind of reconnect with it without the flashbacks anymore. They've finished now, haven't they? And this is, I'm feeling more comfortable
forward now. Yeah,
I'm feeling more comfortable in it because I know that it's all linear from here, and I don't want to rag on it again, but it sometimes does draw me out of it. I know I shouldn't, but yeah, it does a little bit. But hey ho, I think that's just a personal thing, though, isn't it?
Maybe I'd say give it another crack.
Yeah, I've given it. Yeah, I've given it quite a few goes already, and it's just one of them ones.
And we will keep doing it until you give the correct answer.
In this household, about 2 or 3 times a year.
Yeah. I will let you know next time round then. So he's unwound. Winters has calmed himself
He's had a
down.
nice hot bath and he's waiting for his flake to be delivered.
That's right. And then
Show me age there.
Are we going to the cinema scene now? This is where all the shell shock people are.
We'll have to watch some John Wayne, Pilgrim.
Got the penny. Got the penny. Love that bit.
I was going to go on a bit Al Pacino there.
I'd be leaning over to him, you know I would be, and just saying, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck
well, Lipton
up.
does.
Yeah, but Lipton ain't Elton McManus.
Turn your fucking phone off.
Do I tell you what I did with a chap in the cinema?
No, go for it.
Took his shoe off and threw it down the screen.
Yes, I remember you saying that, yeah. And I can't blame you for that either.
If you're going to put your foot up by my head on the back of my seat, I'm going to do this.
I don't think he can have any arguments with that whatsoever. If you're going to put your shoe up there, then yeah, that's fair game. I think I may adopt that situation next time. Why not? Anyway,
we digress.
Yes, we're in the cinema where people are not putting their feet up right next to our heads. And we can see everyone seems to be in a daze. Buck's in a daze. Definitely. We have Winters trying to get through to Buck as well, and Buck's just...
Well, we're not there yet, because they're doing the film, and you've got... what's the guy doing me really bad impressions? Can't remember his name. Anyway, Mr. Gotterpenny, pissing everyone off, because he's that cunt. But then the MPs come marching in, don't they? Turn the lights on, it's just like, hey, I was masturbating to that.
George Luz.
There you go, Luz. But yeah, the MPs come in and basically say, the Panzers have broken through the Ardennes, back to work, people. And they all go, oh, fine, kind of head off and everything. And that's when you get Buck's just still sitting there. And his body language is so closed, isn't it?
He's broken at that point.
Yeah. Yeah.
But he's a kind of like the opposite of how Winters dealt with it. You've got that sort, because at that point they're being, it's not the WSO or whatever it is. They're showing the cinema and showing the film in the cinema. Everybody's relaxing. Malarkey's gone off and won a fuck ton of money playing craps.
Oh god, yeah, thousands.
So everybody's sort of in a relaxed state and actually had time to pause. So you've got people dealing with it in different ways. And so obviously Buck Compton, he's been through D-Day, he's been shot and all the rest of it. So he's kind of paused to think for 5 seconds and actually thought, fuck. Because later on...
Well, he was wounded, wasn't he?
He was the one who was shot in the arse with 4 holes. So he's actually had time to sort of stop and think for 5 minutes, and just, I think it kind of hits him. But once he's back in combat, he's Johnny on the spot again. Especially when you see scenes in Bastogne, he's an effective combat leader again. So once his mind is occupied, he's there and he's on it.
Yeah.
But with this sort of respite where, right, sit down, have a cup of cocoa, do whatever, and it's just kind of, the wave just hits him of, fucking hell, what the hell am I doing here?
Yeah, he's the kind of character that doesn't need to stop. He just needs to plow on.
Yeah.
And as soon as you take stock of what is going on around you and what has happened to you, and I'd imagine you would think how many close calls you've had and how different things could have been if you'd just done that differently, or what happens if I'd done that, or what happens if I'd gone over there.
Or how many people have I killed?
Yeah, and
that's the other thing as well. It's not so much, not even, well, obviously it's part of it. Never mind how many times could I have died, how many times have I been shot. It's how many people have I killed? And some people, yeah, exactly. And that will hit certain people different ways. So obviously, if you can take your mind off it, like Malarkey does, or George Luz when he's taking a piss out of the film, or however. But I think Buck Compton at that point is just kind of, oh fuck.
So all the passes are revoked now, aren't they?
Yep. Yes, it's all hands to the pumps.
Fuckers. Utter fuckers. But then they go outside and you can see the very, very wisps of snow starting to fall. And you know that just spells bad news.
Oh yeah, winter is here. The Starks have been warning us.
It's finally come, hasn't it? And
you're not often, Jon Snow.
Even just watching that, the very first flakes falling, and they're tiny little flakes. They're just whispers. Just whispers, but you know exactly what is around the corner. And you think, oh, fucking God. Because they're all stood around like flame pits as well, aren't they?
Yeah. Well, and they got no winter clothing, do they?
That's after they've actually gone out to Bastogne, because where they are, they're not actually in Bastogne.
Yeah,
so
they're actually
trucks,
transported.
Yeah, they're transported there. Because you've got that the replacement with the socks, and they're all kind of taking a piss and ribbing on him and nicking his cigarettes and all the rest of it. But when they actually get to Bastogne, to the Crossroads, it kind of hits that actually we've not been provided for.
Mm-hmm.
At which point Dyke appears. Hello, we've got no.
Hi everybody. Bye everybody.
And all he's worried about is fucking Colonel Strayer at Lieutenant Colonel Dobie's wedding, and you're just like, no, you've got men with no ammunition or fucking winter socks, mate. You've got bigger fish to fry. You're in charge of these people, and we've got fuck all.
Isn't he? He's told to go get a winter coat, though, isn't he? And he's like, okay, bye-bye, yoink. And he's gone.
Yeah, and he's off again.
Mm.
There's like a cloud in the shape of his body where he was. And as soon as it said, he's like, doing, gone. Thank you very much. My excuse to leave this vicinity is here.
And then I think it's pretty much at that point when the reason why they've all been bussed out to there suddenly hits, when you have the columns of the wounded coming from Bastogne.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
And it's just like, right, okay, give me your ammunition, give me your grenades.
Give me all your shit.
give me whatever you can, mate, because I'm going to need it.
You won't need it. We need it now.
They are broken, though, aren't they?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you get the sense at this point and go, oh, shit.
So who are these guys that are walking back towards the opposite direction where Easy Company is going to be heading towards?
That's the US infantry that were marching through Belgium.
And that's the front line, is it?
And that's the front line. And basically, Hitler's last-ditch attempt at fucking things up, he just threw everything into the Barjac forest at Bastogne.
Battle of the Bulge, isn't it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, and he threw absolutely everything at it.
Right.
You had Panzer divisions, you had Stukas, you had the whole shebang. He basically had a mini blitzkrieg in Belgium.
Wow.
And it caught everybody off, just completely caught everybody cold. You're in the run-up to Christmas, you're advancing across Europe. As we've said before, the Germans are a spent force. We're not expecting anything to come, but oh, holy shit.
Mm.
And he really did.
This was the last German offensive of the war.
Yeah.
Right.
And we get a celebrity cameo as well.
Yeah, I've always at the time you don't sort of realise who it is, but certainly looking at it now, you're just like, oh yeah.
Although it wasn't a celebrity cameo at this point because he was a legitimate extra.
Yeah.
Wait,
You know who we're talking about, Elton?
Oh yeah, I do.
Yeah.
As soon as he popped up, it's like when I think I said this to Pete a little while ago. It's like when you saw what's his name turn up in Saving Private Ryan.
Nathan Fillion.
Yeah, Nathan Fillion. And the first 100 times I've seen that, I've never noticed him there, and then this time I did. And then when Rice rocks up, you just think. Before then, I've just thought, it's just another guy just dealing out ammunition because they need ammunition. But go on, Andy. I'll let everyone else know who this is.
Oh, tis Jimmy Fallon of US talk show fame, I believe. Which is the one he does? It's
he does the lip sync battles.
He does the lip sync battles. What's his show? Because the Late Show's Stephen Colbert one. Is it the Tonight Show he does? I've got no idea.
Tonight,
they all sound the same. You got the Late Show, the Day Show, the Daily Show, the Tonight Show, the Sometime Next Tuesday Show, the Later Evening Show, the Show, the Big Show.
As long as
there's
it's not
lots of
that
shows
one
over there.
with what's his name in it. Who's the British guy that everyone hates?
Nigel Farage.
So many British guys we don't like.
Yeah.
I can't
anyone through the first half of this episode?
No. Anyway, yeah, he does he was a legitimate actor at this time as well, wasn't he?
He was, yes. He was an actor.
And
he gave it all up to be a talk show. Yeah, it's a nice little moment. Yeah, he's just kind of like, have some ammo. I'll go get you some more.
It's a solid little cameo, though, isn't it? It really is solid.
Mm.
So he rocks up, he has ammo, and they just pretty much pick the meat off a monkey like piranhas do.
Yeah. As piranhas are wont to, yeah.
Yes. If you dip a monkey into water, then piranhas will strip them bare. So,
yeah. You heard it here first, folks.
The piranhas pop along, nick all the ammunition, and certain other people are asking for other little things. He's seeing if he's going to get other little bits as well. But it's food as well that they're after, and water.
They've got nothing at this point.
They've got no proper winter clothing. They're low on food, low on ammunition, and then they're going off into one of the biggest battles.
It was supposed to be over by now.
I think some of the men, when they were interviewed after, obviously for the talking head bits, I think some of them were actually saying we were down to 1 round per person.
Shit.
And you're going into that.
Of course, no one knew they were going into that then, though, did they? Hindsight being 20/20 as always.
Yeah.
I think you do get a fair idea that when you're faced with a column of injured men coming back from a war zone going, yeah, they've got tanks and Stukas, mate.
No, but that was the point. When they were on the trucks on the way out, they're all joking, joshing and all that. That's just like, here we go again, it's a bloody parade or something. But it's only then when they see the wound they go, oh, shit.
Yeah, I see what you mean now, yeah.
Yeah. And Winters, I can't remember who he says this to, but he drops a lovely line about paratroopers. We're supposed to be surrounded.
We're supposed to be surrounded, yeah. It says that to Jimmy Fallon.
Oh, he does it say it to him? Right, okay.
You're going to be surrounded, yeah, we're paratroopers, we're meant to be.
Yeah, that's such a beautiful, delicious line. It really is. And it just sums up everything that you know what is going to be coming towards them. It's terrifying and exciting at the same time, just from a viewing point. If I was there, I'd be shitting my pants. Absolutely shitting my pants. I would have dug a hole and tried to hide in it by this point. Sod it. Shoot myself in the foot. I don't know. I'm not of the mindset of that. These are heroes that are going into this. Utter heroes. And that's it. We see them walking off into the darkness. And there is a battle raging towards the horizon, shall we say. And then we close, and we have a little bit of writing. I think it's Easy Company moved into the woods near Bastogne without any artillery or air support. It was short on food, ammunition, and lacked winter clothing. And that's it.
Yep. And we'll be there for a couple of episodes.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of when Judge Dredd comes back into it, because he's amazing. It's not. Is it around this area? Yes,
it's towards the end of the second one in the Barjac.
Right. Okay. I'm looking forward to that. He's amazing.
He is awesome.
It's Spears, isn't it? Yeah,
Ronald Spears.
Yeah.
He's the guy that when former comrades of his phone him up and say, right, we're organising a reunion. He'll go, okay, for what? Who are you? And he said, I fought with you in the war. And he's the one who will say, which war? Because he went back. I think he did Korea. I think he did Vietnam as well.
He did. He served in Korea, and then he was.
Didn't he run Spandau Prison?
Yeah, he was in Spandau Prison.
Him,
yeah.
But yeah,
Spandau
Prison.
Prison.
In the war. Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna have to Google that. Spandau Prison.
He's seriously badass, that guy.
Yep. As we say, he was he'd been an excellent Judge Dredd.
Definitely.
Well, just Judge Spears, it's just fucking badass as it was.
Yeah. We have a little bit of feedback for this episode as well.
Yes. We're sorry we've taken so long to get to it. We hadn't forgotten.
No, definitely not. Right, okay, the first piece I have to read to you guys is from Doreen Kelly. And she says, for Crossroads, Winters writing his reports really works well as a framing device. In a lesser series, it might not have worked. All the pauses for him to think about how he was going to word the next parts were just right. The scenes where they are watching the movie were heartbreaking, especially when Winters tries to talk to Buck. We are paratroopers, Lieutenant. We're supposed to be surrounded. Bye for now, Doreen. There we go. And do we have another one on the Facebook group?
Of course we do. You know we do. You told me to read it. What are you trying to do? Give the impression that this is all spontaneous?
Trying to segue.
Madness, sir. Yes, we have one from Philip, and I'm going to horribly mangle this pronunciation, but it's got weird umlauts over a letter, and I don't know how you say those, so I'm just going to say it's Sternstrom, and assume that that's correct. And if it's not, I do apologise. I blame Elton. And he writes, the island charge, as the chapter in the book is called, was indeed well crafted in the way of describing military strategy and action performed by the men of Easy Company, and especially Captain Winters. His outstanding leadership, making tough and smart choices at critical moments, truly saved the lives of several men in the company. These paratroopers were, at this point, authentic war veterans. The adaptation to screen, in my opinion, truly captivated their performance of the island charge, except for some minor details, in an outstanding way. I especially enjoy the flashbacks with the point of view of Captain Winters. These captivating and horrifying moments of action are unbiased and respectfully narrated. The fact that the story of this episode centers around Winters and his actions, his struggles with inner demons, and his admiration for the company make it greater than great. Fully agree with you there, sir.
Nice one. Thank you very much. If anyone wants to leave any other feedback, we do have a group on Facebook, which is probably facebook.com/groups/Band of Brothers podcast. I'm assuming that would be it anyway. If not,
you'll probably find it.
Yeah, search for that. You'll be able to find it anyway. I do have one other email here as well. So if you guys don't mind me murdering another email, I'll go
ahead.
Okay. Everyone knows that I'm crap at doing this, but we shall continue anyway. This is from Amanda Burns. She's from Alabama in USA. We're stretching out to the USA.
Way!
We've just battered them about their English accents. And they're actually writing to us. Anyway, she says,
I don't think anyone's going to be writing after this episode.
No, maybe not, but there you go. Hello. Every year, at the beginning of June, I watch Band of Brothers as a way to remember and honour the soldiers and the events that took place on D-Day. I'm a college student at the University of Alabama, a bit far from where you are. Yes, indeed. And I just wanted to send you an email to let you know that I'm thoroughly enjoying the podcast. I, like Andy mentioned in one of the first episodes, watch Band of Brothers 2 or 3 times a year. It's a remarkable show. Every time I watch it, I become engrossed in the characters' lives and their stories. The cinematic shots are fantastic. I'm currently reading We Who Are Alive and Remain. It's all right. I'm going to read that title again. We Who Are Alive and Remain. Untold Stories from the Band of Brothers by Marcus Brotherton. It has been a great read so far. It includes stories from more minor characters in the show like Shifty Powers, Frank Perconte, Buck Tyler, and many others. If you haven't already, I definitely recommend reading it. Anyway, your discussions have been wonderful and insightful. I can't wait for the next episode. Episode 5, Crossroads, is one of my favourite episodes. So I'm excited to hear your thoughts. Hope to listen soon. Love from Alabama, USA, Amanda Burns. Sent from my iPhone. There we go.
Thank you, Amanda. And if I could just say, go Bama, roll Tide. Oh, yes. I've seen Crimson Tide.
Nice one.
Thank you.
I'm going to have to order this book now, aren't I?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Right after you've watched Battle of Britain.
Oh, yeah. Oh, right. Okay. Write that down again for me to watch again. I will. I promise you, I will.
Have you seen the Dam Busters, or was that the other one?
I'm sure it's been on in the background. I'm sure
he's almost certainly seen the Carling Black Label advert.
I was going to say, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Watch the Dam Busters and then watch Star Wars afterwards.
Oh, yeah, it's just a shot for shot, isn't it? Surely.
Pretty much, yes.
I'm picking up guns, 2 on the towers, 2 on the surface.
Right, okay, so we move on to Bastogne now for the next episode.
I believe we do.
I can't really remember much of this episode, but I like this period of Band of Brothers.
This is the Doc Rowe episode, isn't it?
This is Doc Rowe, yeah.
Yeah, I remember this episode. This is a. It's gonna get you. It's gonna get you in the feels.
Yeah, this one's gonna tickle your balls, isn't it?
It's this one, and because this one's just called Bastogne, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, the next one is Bastogne,
and then it's the breaking
point. And then there's the breaking point, which is Lipton.
Yeah, I think the breaking point is the standout of the entire season for me, I think. But no, Bastogne's really good, very, very good. And it kind of highlights as well just how difficult things were as a medic in that situation.
Well, yeah, because it is from his point of view, isn't it? And so you
pretty much the whole thing, yeah.
So you do get the medic shouted from one area and then instantly from another area as well. And it is just a portrayal of how can one man just cover this amount of distance and keep everyone alive.
Yeah. As his mate in the foxhole says, no medical training. Just, you're a medic. Okay.
Yeah, that's the way it goes, isn't it?
It always reminds me of one of my favourite lines from Red versus Blue, which is, no, I'm not a doctor, I'm a medic. Well, what's the difference? Well, a doctor heals the sick. A medic just makes you more comfortable while you die.
Wow.
Yep.
Because now, this is something that's always puzzled me as well. Medics weren't armed, were they?
They weren't supposed to be, no. They were, because the general consensus was if you were wearing a medic, the Red Cross symbol, you weren't supposed to be targeted by the enemy, which is why the thought was you could go out into no man's land or wherever, into the crossfire and treat wounded. You were also supposed to treat any wounded you came across. I mean, you could treat yours first, but you were supposed to, you're kind of bound by the Hippocratic Oath sort of thing, it's... You do that. So you often got a lot of conscientious objectors would go in as medics if they still wanted to serve, just didn't want to fight. Well, I don't want to say didn't want to fight, didn't have to fire weapons, but still, and that makes it even more terrifying if you ask me.
Yeah, without anything to just rely on, really, is it?
Although he does get to keep both his hands in his pockets in his jacket when it's cold.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't have to carry a gun.
Yep. Yeah, he's not going to freeze to the gun.
So he's got that going. He's got that going for him, which is nice.
That means he can just cool his body down quicker with his cold hands. There's no gloves. I wouldn't last a second. I wouldn't. I would have been killed on D-Day. I wouldn't even got anywhere near here. There's just
let's face it, you'd have tripped getting into the aircraft.
I would have. Have you ever seen World War Z, where that guy trips and shoots himself?
Oh, God. Yeah.
There we go.
Film.
That's what happens to me. It would. I probably would have been killed maybe training to be a paratrooper. I would have fallen off, rolled down Currahee at some point by accident and hit every stone on the way down. It just wouldn't happen. Anyway, seems we've done that. Andy, have you got anything to plug before we move on to next week?
You can also catch me on Space Doc Jury, which is at spacedocjury.com, and on iTunes and on Facebook and everything, where myself, Mr. Lee Medcalf, and the Right Reverend Peter Organ discuss all manner of spaceship stuff, and we have intelligent, informed debates about the merits of various forms of interstellar transport. Or, to put it another way, we have a massive argument over whose ship was better. Usually mine.
And Lego ships.
And Lego ships, yes.
I think the best one was the Heckler. Do you remember that one? one of Reverend Org's kids runs in and goes, "Spaceships are rubbish," and ran out again.
Oh, that happens every episode. It's just in
I
one
love that.
instance we couldn't get rid of it.
It's just like, what?
They don't appreciate the great works we're doing here. And you can also catch me and Elton also talking about Formula One on the Grand Prix podcast.
Which is
where
doing
one of Elton's
great
kids
guns.
runs in and say, is that the one where one of Elton's kids runs in and goes, "Motor cars are rubbish"?
Better
Yes.
not. At least one of them's named after a Formula One driver. So
Oh, yeah.
That's the one that doesn't like it.
Nigel.
You leave my daughter Nigel alone. Anyway, Pete, have you got anything to plug?
Aside from the scribblings of the great Danny Davies, I'm going to plug. I don't need to plug it really. Bearing in mind the nature of this podcast, July the 21st, Dunkirk comes out for general release in the UK in cinemas, and I'd strongly recommend people go see that. There is also, and it's probably available on all four, your Channel 4 catch-up program. There's a rather good program on at the weekend. I think it was called something like Dunkirk, the Hidden Story or something.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, cause there's always been this idea that the RAF did fuck all at Dunkirk, and it kind of turns that on its head. So that's a very interesting watch.
Okay, I'm going to check that out then. After
really
Battle
good.
of Britain and Dam Busters.
And Dam Busters and 633 Squadron.
Yeah, and after that as well. So many things I need to watch.
and that's before we got into Battle of River Plate, Hunt the Bismarck, The Cruel Sea.
Yeah. I need to watch Das Boot, the full fat version as well.
Oh, it's pretty awesome.
Yeah. Love to watch that. So one day I will. You can catch me on the Black Dog podcast that comes out every Wednesday morning. It's a film review show with four idiots that like to talk about movies. And you can find that at blackdogpodcast.com. You can also catch me it might even be recorded by now, but you can catch me on shonkylab.com. The latest episode that's already dropped is, hang on, what was that about? I'm trying to remember. Driving, that's it. God, my mind is going. It's about driving, and the next episode is going to be about spreads and how to keep bread less dry. So, yeah, it's all fun over at shonkylab.com. Please pop along to iTunes and give this a review if you're enjoying it. It just helps us up a magical ladder that doesn't really exist, but it helps to spread the word to many other people. And I'd also like to give LSG Media a little shout out as well. Pop along to lsgmedia.net for all their podcasts as well. They are friends of the show. So
I think they're going to be starting up a Band of Brothers. No, don't do that. They're going to be doing a Game of Thrones one fairly soon as well, I think.
that's right. Yeah. They do Game of Thrones. They do Walking Dead. They've done True Detective. They have the science fiction film podcast as well. So please pop a there and let them know that we sent you. So until we meet again in Bastogne, thank you very much and bye-bye. Hello everyone, welcome back to the Band of Brothers podcast. I'm Elton, and as always, I'm joined by Andy.
Hello.
And stepping into the breach, we have Mr. Pete Hammond.
Oh, yeah.
And this week, we have the episode Crossroads. Now, for people that have been following us live as we go along, there has been a little bit of a break. For people who haven't been following us live, it's just another episode. So that's
we feel silly for drawing attention to it now because you're aware of this.
God damn it! That's the way things happen round here, isn't it? So there we go. Anyway, so yeah, we're going to be talking about Crossroads. First of all, I want to get everyone's initial impressions on this. Pete, what about your first initial impressions? When did you first see this, and what do you actually think of this episode before we dive into it?
As I say, when this first aired on the BBC back in whenever it was, 2000, 2001, obviously saw them in sequence. So I saw this when it was first released in the UK, and this is kind of a standout episode for me. It's a very well written one, and it does focus primarily, I always think, on Winters, and rightly so in this one. For reasons that will probably become clear later on as we discuss it. But this is also quite a problematic episode for me as well, for reasons which will probably become clear later on as we go through it. So yeah, I've really enjoyed it, but I do have issues with it.
I think I know exactly where the issues may lie.
I think I mentioned them the first time I was on this cast, actually. So there you go.
So I think I have issues a little bit, I suppose, but I'll get into that in a minute. Andy, what about yourself?
Oh, I really like this one. I love the way this one starts, with just kind of running through the field. And then
there are other little issues that I do believe we might be getting to very, very soon indeed.
Do you think so, old boy?
I think we might do, actually, yes. Mm-hmm.
I say, chaps, I'm finding these terrible accents awfully fright offensive, if you will. I'd rather you stick to traditional British, not this palaver.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
What?
Anyway, should we might as well dive into it.
It's going to turn into fucking Independence Day soon, isn't it? It's a message from the Yanks. Says they've got away to fight the aliens. Well, bravo, it's about bully time.
Well, I'm glad we can count on the Yanks to kill the aliens, and now we can go do it too.
Yes. Spot. Fucking F-16s in the background as well. No, I'll save that for another day.
I'm back as well, as he vertically challenges a massive ship. Fucking hell.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, I'm just going to put out a little warning here. We are going to spoil this episode, and we are going to swear throughout. That's the way it rolls around here. That's the way it rolls on most of the podcasts that I produce and we produce together. So if you have little ears listening, then I suggest that you scuttle them along to play with some Lego in the other room while you listen to this. So there you go. Spoiler warning and foul language warning out the way. That is done. Let's get into this. Where would you like to start on this? Because as you've already said, Andy, the opening shots of him just running across that field and the heavy breath and what's going on.
Talking heads.
Oh, damn. I always forget them.
You're not meant to say it now, Pete. You wait until he gets halfway in and then you mention it and then he has to go, I forgot. But yes, there are talking heads.
Right. Okay. Talking heads. I've got it written down here and I didn't look at my notes. Damn it. It's
a professional production here, as you can tell.
Yeah. Well, I feel it's part of the cast now, isn't it? We just forget about it and then we go back to it. Damn, stupid Elton. Anyway, talking heads. They're talking about it's all about leaders and how you would follow leaders into battle and people that you would follow and people you wouldn't follow. Once again, we don't know the names of these people that are speaking.
It's pretty apparent who at least one of them is.
Yes. Yeah. It is, yeah, but I'm still enjoying just listening to these guys just talking. I could sit...
the gunshot ringing out. Just the way it's structured, just in a story sense is really well done. Winters is the focus here. And I think this is probably the second or third one which focused on Winters. And I think we get one more, but this is his crossroad. In the first time we see Winters, he's at Curehe, kind of the reluctant leader, if you will, is still that to an extent, but you can kind of just see how far he's traveled since we landed in Normandy. And again, I mean, considering that fundamentally this entire episode takes place with him just tapping away on his keyboard. It's all flashbacks. It's effectively a flashback episode, but it's just so well done. And it's enjoyable. There's some great character moments in there. I, for one, don't seem to have any issues that I can recall with this episode, so I look forward to hearing what you two have to say about it.
Okay, what about myself? I don't know about this one. I really like the actual story that is shown to us. I'm not so sure about the flashback aspect of things. I think it works. Whether I like it or not is another thing. I do like flashbacks in certain storytelling modes, and
he also likes flash dance, as is reported.
No, shush! That was never to be recorded. God damn you!
The truth will out, my friend. The truth will out.
But with flashbacks can work really well as a good mechanism in a storytelling situation. Sometimes they don't work as well for myself. And I feel because we haven't had any flashbacks yet, have we? Up until this point. And so,
well, apart from the whole first episode.
Oh, God damn you. That's true, yeah. But, okay, that was a slightly different, it's different structure, I feel.
It was structured differently, absolutely, but the entire episode is framed as a flashback.
Yeah, but this is jumping backwards and forwards, and I feel that feels a little out of place. Only a smidgen, but it works for the context that it's trying to portray on the screen. But it doesn't mean I have to like it. And they're there for hours and just listen to that. But
that would probably be a good... I mean, they probably could just release all of those interviews just as a standalone thing, and I'd buy it.
Did they not?
I don't think they did, no, because even on the DVD, I've got the box set, and it doesn't have all of them.
No, it's not got all of them. It's got a fair chunk of it. But
it's got a fair chunk, but I'm just saying I'd quite happily just sit and watch a Blu-ray or a DVD of just those interviews. A bit like World at War.
I would be in a pile of my own tears and snot. Even halfway through that, I feel I wouldn't be able to cope. I'd have to do it in 10-minute chunks because I would be a blubbing wreck. I really would. And
oh yeah,
yes, I would. It's just, oh my God, it's so harrowing. Even just talking about leadership and just mind blowing. I find it. It's so awe-inspiring as well. It really is. But yeah, they're talking about the leaders, and there are some quotes I've written down here. I don't know how he survived, but he did, and they're just talking from their own perspectives on these. I'm just awe-inspired by these guys. I think they're fantastic. But then it goes into the frantic running, the bayonet, and the tracking shots.
I mean, if you want to just kind of get people's attention off the get-go, like install a sense of intrigue, this one does it the best of all of them, I reckon, just from that opening shot.
Yeah, I suppose you're right, yeah.
Because, you bear in mind, I can't remember exactly where we left off last time around. It was replacements, wasn't it? So I think we were in the barn talking about another deployment or something like this. But all of a sudden, out of the blue, you've got heavy breathing, there's someone running through a field, he's isolated, he's on his own, and he gets to the top. And you've just got literally this kid in a German uniform. He looks about 12, just kind of shrug. And then you see it's Winters, and he just fires, and it's just a look on his face and determination as it goes, and you just hear that ka-chink as the shell casing pops out, and the guy goes down, and it's just like, what? Have I missed an episode? What?
He's like previously on, isn't it?
Yeah.
But
it's so well shot. I mean, it's just from a cinematic point of view, it's just so well done, that opening shot. I mean, you couldn't do a whole episode like this, but that as an opening sequence is great. This Michael Bay, that's how you use shaky cam.
Yeah,
just
definitely.
a little bit of brevity, and it works really powerfully.
Reminds me of the beach in Saving Private Ryan as well.
Oh, it's definitely got that kind of frantic bleach bypass look sort of thing, that sense that you're really there. But yeah, it's just such a beautifully shot sequence.
I think Tom Hanks directed this episode.
He did. He's also in it.
Is he? Oh,
Yes.
okay. Where? Do I need to know now or do I need to know later on?
Do you want me to, I believe, and I could be wrong, but I believe he's one of his bloody English people who are stuck across the bridge.
Give over. He's not, is he?
He is. Spit, tulip and all that what?
Oh, brilliant. I was unaware of that. Okay, right. That means I need to watch it again.
Hey!
Okay, so
Yeah,
now...
he's one of the Red Devils, so yes.
Ah, okay. So now we flash forward to October 17th, 1944, and we're in Holland. And Winter's...
Winter is coming.
Winter
Wrong show.
he hears commotion outside, doesn't he? And something's up. Something's going down. And he has to wake Nixon. And what better way to wake a man than pour
with a jug of his own piss.
Oh,
Well, look, in Winter's defence, he shook him twice, sort of thing. Gave him plenty of opportunities to wake up on his own accord, and when he wouldn't stir, it was, well, there's liquid here.
well, this is still going on from Nixon having his drink issues as well, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean that's just something that's kind of underlying throughout. And I would just like to ask also, even if you do pee into a glass, why do you put it on a shelf afterwards? Put it on the floor, man. On the floor.
Well, you don't want to kick it over.
Yeah,
No.
he's in that kind of cot, isn't he? So you might boot it, I suppose. But
Well, yeah, I mean, it is that or have your roommate kind of throw it in your face. I can see the difficulty in choosing the two.
I think I'd put it on that shelf, but maybe the furthest point from that opening. Just in case some idiot comes in and splashes it over your face. That's like going to the gigs that I've been to in the past, where you just cop a massive pint of plastic